Explorer. Welcome back. We are going on to our next part of the CNBLUE's 3ology reaction. This is going to start with Bliss. Without further ado, let's go ahead and just get right into it.
시간 속에 네가 있으면 좋겠어. 난 작은 설렘과 기쁨은 다 네 거야. 내게로 쏟아지는 light, 너를 가득 담은 nights, 느껴지는 떨림 표정 하나까지 매일을 기대하게. 'Cause you're my bliss.
Ooh, I like how they did that.
시간 속에 네가 있으면 좋겠어. 난 작은 설렘과 기쁨은 다 네 거야. 내게로 쏟아지는 light, 너를 가득 담은 nights, 느껴지는 떨림 표정 하나까지 매일을 기대하게. 'Cause you're my bliss.
Ooh.
You're my bliss, yeah. Oh, you're my bliss, yeah. Yeah, I can feel every moment, just give me kiss. Never knew I could feel like this. 우리 서로 매일을 선물해 줄래. 'Cause you're my bliss.
I really love how this is a little bit different. It still had that kind of dancey feeling, but it was a little less. if that makes sense. I think my favorite part out of this is the way that the pre-chorus really backed off in the chords, in the instrumentation, excuse me. It was just the chords, and then I love how there was the space between 'cause you're my bliss. That was really, really pretty that first time off, and the second time it was bliss, but it went right into that the transition with every moment just give me a kiss, like, and I loved how that worked together. And then I loved in the bridge it really ramped up, 'cause you're my bliss, it really ramped up into that guitar solo, and it had so much more instrumentation for that last chorus, and then it decided, oh, for this last part, every moment just give me a kiss. It really backed off on the instrumentation. Really good use of like dynamics, like going in and out, giving more texture with more instrumentation, less instrumentation. I thought that was a really good feel. I don't know why I took both of my earbuds out. That makes it difficult. So the next song would have been Still a Flower, but I have already reacted to that on this channel. So the next one is going to be, let me see here. It's going to be Again. So let's go ahead and see what that's all about. So we're more into like the ballad part, because Still a Flower would have been a ballad, and then here.
여전히 우리란 말 소중한 그 밤과 그 말 흐릿해진 길 끝에 너와 나 외로움에 지쳐도 우린 괜찮을 거야 길었던 밤 지나면
Ooh, I like that.
찾아올 다시 만날 그날 그 밤 우리 다시 만나는 날 흩어지던 순간 그 기억 어디선가에서 또 다시 피어 더욱 빛날 거야 우리 다시 만나는 밤 그 밤엔 우리 모두가 다시 끝이 없는 노래를 할 거야 할 거야 수많은 별 쏟아져 우주처럼 끝없는 바닷속을 헤엄쳐서 너에게 닿고파 반짝거리며 찾아올 다시 만날 그날 그 밤 우리 다시 만나는 날 흩어지던 순간 그 기억 어디선가에서 또 다시 피어 더욱 빛날 거야 우리 다시 만나는 밤 그 밤엔 우리 모두가 다시 끝이 없는 노래를 할 거야 영원히 간직해줘 오늘 밤을 우리 밤을 영원함을
Pretty. Ooh, nice little fade out. Really long fade out. We don't usually hear those anymore. Okay, I have to say that this is kind of like a restrained song, and really wasn't expecting the na-na-nas at the end, which really made the song a lot longer than I think personally it needed to be. I really actually liked how short it was and to the point, because the lyrics were very beautiful and I really enjoyed. I wrote down a couple of the lyrics, or just highlighted them. The one that I noticed the more is "We will be all right." I think that's probably why the na-na-nas were in there, is to kind of reflect that feeling of we're gonna be all right. But I really loved in the first time that Youngwon did it was the emphasis on the repetition of Goya, repeating it several different times. I really loved that aspect of it, and I really loved what was it? Oh, when we went into that day, the night, just the way that Youngwon did those notes, like going into them, I thought that was really, really beautiful. Really interesting how that was, like, he chose to do that. It just made a lot of sense with the way that the song was. The structure of this was really simple. We had a verse, a chorus, a verse, a chorus, and then a tag. And I felt like it was just so simple. It didn't need a lot to it, because the lyrics were just beautiful. Like, if you just start from the beginning, our night that is growing distant, the word us that still remains, that precious night, and those words. And throughout the song, night is a big thing that's repeated a lot. You hear it in Korean bum. You hear it several different times, just throughout. It's just something that I realized was being repeated a lot. And if we continue, even if you and I are worn out by loneliness, at the end of the blurred road, we will be all right. And that, again, just reminding ourselves, like, it seems like, this is kind of the thing where they're falling apart, they're growing out of love, but it's okay, because at the end, even though all this has happened, we're going to be all right. The day that night we meet again, that we will arrive after a long night passes. And again, talking about night repeating several times. The day we meet again, the moment we are scattering from somewhere in those memories, it will bloom again and shine even brighter. That's what I mean about just like using this this scape of words, especially dealing with night and the difference between night and day, and how you can look at that in a relationship as time passing and things like that. So I think that was really interesting lyricism and the way to use that. A ballad, I'm not a huge fan of ballads. For those of you guys who watch my channel frequently, it was good, but it was one of those things where I was just like, oh, it's just a ballad, So that's just my opinion. You can like ballads. I did think it was a good song. It's just something I don't typically like gravitate towards unless I'm like feeling a certain way. So the next song is The Temperature of a Memory. I'm looking forward to seeing, is this going to be another ballad? Are we going to do kind of like a 3 kind of Pete, because we had Still a Flower, then Again, and then Is the Temperature of a Memory. Kind of feels like it's going to be ballad wise, and then maybe we'll go on from there, but we'll see what happens. So let's go ahead and see what this is all about. Maybe more of an up-tempo ballad, which I like up-tempo ballads better. But maybe not. Definitely you can feel how these are connected. Oh, interesting. Based on that introduction is not how I was expecting the first verse to go. Oh, I like how it's picking up. Ooh, pretty. I like that. Yeah, more of an up-tempo ballad. I like these better. Ooh. The strings coming in there, that plucking. Very nice. Oh, and it doesn't go away. That's nice. Pretty. Ooh, nice. Very nice. I really like the piano melody. Okay, that piano melody is so important because of the way that it just seamlessly goes from one part into the other. And the lyricism here was so good. Again, throughout this entire album, I really enjoyed the lyricism, but this one in particular just stuck with me. I think part of it was the way that rushing forward part felt. It was especially because of the piano, I believe. The way that it just started, I was just like, oh, like this is gonna be so good. And it was just like, it was really so good. It was one of those things, especially the last kind of phrase part, the last part. It feels as if time has stopped. Even it feels like my heart has ceased. You remain here in the scouting world. You still vividly remain here. That's like what I felt like the entire time for this song, is like that piano part, that repetitive part, was the part that was always there, right? Always in the heart. Just kept bringing that part out. And I think like when you don't hear that, there was kind of a loss, right? And I think that was really cool. So you start off with that, you know, kind of running piano, right? And then the introduction is bare of that. And it starts out with that memory that spread out dimly, the time we burned for each other. It's so interesting because everything kind of went away. So it was like almost that feeling of love, like was that running aspect, and I really enjoyed that part. The Stay Only You, oof, that part was so beautiful. And the way that everything kind of increased when it got to Sara, like it felt like everything just flowed forward, and you got more into things as everything go. And then I loved how we went, then towards the end it backed off, but it has that introduction of feeling of the piano feeling and rushing forward. So it's kind of like a full circle moment, really came back into it. So good. So out of these songs, I'm really curious to see what your guys' favorite one was. So that would be, I'm going to include Still a Flower because it's in this kind of order. So Bliss, Still a Flower, again, Temperature of a Memory. I would have to say, ooh, this is tough. I'm going to say The Temperature of a Memory, just because I loved that piano part. It was really hard, it was really close, because I loved the way that Bliss went into with that pre-chorus and the chorus going into the kiss part. I love that part. But I think The Temperature of Memory is definitely my favorite out of these, so I'm curious to know your guys' favorites. Tell me what you guys thought of the album so far. Is your favorite out of this, what is your favorite from the whole album so far and what you have seen? That's tough for me. I think so far my top three are To the Moon and Back, Ready, Set, Go, and The Temperature of Memory. I think those are my top three right now. But we'll have to see. We still have 2 more songs to go. So tell me your thoughts down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.